Okay, we're going to start with the Federalist number 1. And the first paragraph is probably one of the most beautiful and important paragraphs in these 85 articles, in these 85 papers. I will read them to you and then we will discuss it. Okay, I'm going to read it slowly and then we'll talk about it. Remember, the Constitutional Convention ended in September 1787, and Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and James Madison, they're in the state of New York. Remember, at that time, state of New York was, New York City actually was the capital city at that time. The capital of the United States. And Alexander Hamilton wants to get the people of New York in the upcoming convention to ratify this Constitution, to give consent to it, to formally give consent to it. So every one of these essays starts with to the people of the state of New York. So all these essays, all these papers are written first to the people of state of New York because they want New York State to ratify the Constitution. And gradually they will send these papers to different states. In a few months, they form it into a book format. Actually, they make 2 volumes out of it and publish the 85 essays in 2 volumes, but that will be down the road. So here in October 27, 1787, the first Federalist Papers is published. And all of them are published under the pseudonym Publius. Let me show it to you. This is Publius. It's a pseudonym, almost like a stage name, a pen name, a name you use just temporarily for a purpose, especially when you write an article, that you don't want your name to be known because you want people to pay attention to what is written. And it comes from the name of Publius Valerius Publicola, which was one of the 4 people that restored the Roman Republic. The Roman Republic had been under tyranny, under absolute rule, and Publius was one of the 4 people that restored it to a republic. So they take this pen name to say, we got rid of the British Empire, we kicked them out, we declared our independence, now we are independent. Okay, so we brought the republic back, we got rid of the monarchy that was pushing us around, and we are going to restore a republic, a huge republic, because it's going to be composed of 13 republics, the 13 new states. So on October 27, 1787, only a month after the Constitution was written, the first Federalist paper is published. And keep in mind that what he does is not only explain the Constitution and in the process explain federalism, but he's answering back to all the accusations that appear in the papers, because the people who do not agree with the Constitution are writing essays in New York City newspapers and attacking the Constitution. These are the people that later on come to be known as anti-federalist. But the Federalist, the first one, comes out and wants to say why we went to the convention in Philadelphia, why we wrote this Constitution. And here is one of the most beautiful paragraphs that's ever written, and I will explain to you why it is very relevant to what we are doing, what we are talking about, because we're talking about learning from the American experience and applying it in the future to when we get together, when the nations come together and form a union. Okay? So let me read it to you. After an unequivocal experience of the inefficacy of the subsisting federal government, you are called upon to deliberate on a new Constitution for the United States of America. The subject speaks its own importance, comprehending in its consequences nothing less than the existence of the Union, the safety and welfare of the parts of which it is composed, the fate of an empire, in many respects the most interesting in the world. It has been frequently remarked that it seems to have been reserved to the people of this country by their conduct and example to decide the important question whether societies of men are really capable or not of establishing good government from reflection and choice, or whether they are forever destined to depend for their political constitutions on accident and force. If there be any truth in the remark, the crisis at which we arrived may with propriety be regarded as the era in which that decision is to be made. And a wrong election of the part we shall act may, in this view, deserve to be considered as the general misfortune of mankind. Notice how he ends the paragraph. General misfortune of mankind. Because in a way, they knew that they are trying something brand new. That if it succeeds, if it is successful, it will be an example to mankind. If it doesn't, it'll be catastrophe. Because this is the first republic in that era that is being established. Everywhere you look, there are monarchies. There are kings, a lot of them absolute monarchies. There are tyrannies, there's no freedom, there's no choice. Small group of people at the top get all the money, have all the wealth, all the land, and majority of the people, a vast majority of the people, live like serfs. They live hand to mouth. Every day they have to worry about whether they will have food the next day, whether somebody will knock on their door and take them to jail just because they want to. So here he's saying we have an awesome opportunity, a wonderful opportunity to be an example to the rest of the world. This is our chance. And this paragraph is so important in what these essays are about and what I think reflects what I think for the future, what I am hoping to share with you, so that I'm going to revisit it. We're going to reread it, or at least look at it again in the next video, in the next session. So if you would take a look at it again, and I will come back in the next video. We'll talk a little bit more about it.